Game number 162, and the Cardinals are still alive. They need a little help. The Dodgers have to beat the San Francisco Giants. The Cardinals have to win today. And if that would happen, we'd have game number 163 here at Busch Stadium between the Cardinals and the Giants. Big number 50 takes to the field. Along with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well, and our entire Fox Sports Midwest crew. 72 degrees, cloudy at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It feels like playoff baseball. A chance for Clint Hurdle and the Pirates to play spoiler here today. They win, they knock the Cardinals out of the playoffs. They almost did it yesterday, if not for a late home run off the bat of Jed Jerko. John Jaso leads it off. A lot of left-handers in this lineup. Then Gregory Polanco, Andrew McCutchen. Jung Ho Gung had a first inning 3-run shot yesterday. Matt Joyce, Alan Hansen, a switch hitter. Eric Fryer, Pedro Florimon, and Ryan Vogelsong, the pitcher, batting ninth for Pittsburgh. John Jaso this year primarily has been the leadoff man for the Pittsburgh Pirates, hitting .265, 7 home runs, and he's driven in 40. Meanwhile, Adam Wainwright trying to pick up win number 14 here today. He's been there so many times before, closing out a World Series and playoff games, closing out the Pirates as a starter going the distance a few years ago in Game 5 of that dramatic division series. And today, trying to pick up the win to send the Cardinals to one more day. First pitch, a ground ball to Carpenter. And that's the first out. The Cardinals defensively, Brandon Moss in left, Grichuk in center, Piscotty is in right. Peralta, Diaz, Jerko, and Carpenter on the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. So Clint Hurdle and the Pirates, they will not finish above the 500 mark this year. They're 78 and 82. The Chicago Cubs 102 wins this year. Cardinals 85 and 76. There's a strike to Gregory Polanco. You can feel the tension right now throughout the entire ballpark.
You definitely can feel it up here. It's definitely a playoff atmosphere. Little extra edge going on out there. The fans starting to clap already early just for an out here and there. But you know, it's funny, you'd hate to get down to this last game, and the one thing you like about this is you kind of almost control your own destiny, but you know, you still now they have to go out there and win. But the bad thing is the electricity would be so much more if they won, they got in. But now you got to sit back and hopefully worry about the San Francisco game with the Dodgers.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Good curveball from Adam Wainwright. The Giants, by the way, have jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first inning. They would clinch the wild card spot, the second. And there's other teams that have a lot on the line. The Blue Jays, Orioles, certainly the Cardinals, and Detroit. Here's McCutchen, and it's lined foul. The curveball here, the last couple of starts, has been really good for Adam Wainwright. Some of the best breaking balls we've seen all year.
One of the things he struggled with early on in the year that really kept him from having that really good year with wins this year was just didn't have a really good feel for that curveball early in the season.
Love how he takes to the mound, sprinting out of that dugout. And the 0-2 pitch to McCutchen. Fastball just missed. He's thrown 7 pitches, and that was his first ball of the afternoon. The 1-2. Curveball, and it's hit out to left. Moss on the move, and that is a foul ball. And not by much. Alfonso Marquez with the call, the third base umpire. He's right on it. Perfect spot to make that call. A ball and 2 strikes now on McCutchen. Fastball hit up the middle. Backhanded by Jerko and not in time as the ball gets away. Hustling for it, Molina, to make sure it doesn't go into the Cardinal dugout. So Gunn yesterday with a 3-run homer off of Michael Wacha, and then became a bullpen game in many ways. And I thought the work of the bullpen obviously stood out, but in particular Trevor Rosenthal, outstanding job. He was hitting triple digits yesterday.
The bullpen came up huge yesterday in that game, and 8 innings of no-run baseball is a pretty tough task, especially at this time of the season, but they were up for the task yesterday.
One thing with the McCutchen, your runner at first, he's not running nearly like he did in seasons past. Teams have run a lot more against the Cardinals this year. And Gunn sends a fly ball into deep right center, but it stays in the ballpark. There's Gritchick. The Pirates strand McCutchen, a scoreless top of the first. The Cardinals coming up. Today for Pittsburgh, we saw him have some very good seasons in San Francisco. So Vogelsong gets the call today in game number 162. He has said he'd like to pitch beyond this season. As Phil Nichols, our hard-working cameraman all summer long, rolls right into the grill of Matt Carpenter. Be careful, Phil. How many times have we said it? He's going to hit you one of these days.
One check swing away from taking a bat upside the head. Look at that. That's a good shot right there.
It's a great shot. That's his camera right there, taking you inside the game. Carpenter, Diaz, Molina, Piscotty, Peralta, Moss, Jerko, Gritchick, and Wainwright. Ryan Vogelsong had a nasty injury where he was hit on the face, had surgery earlier this year. Missed a bunch of time. And so the Cardinals trying to pick up one more win. That pitch taken for a ball. Carpenter 270, 20 home runs, 64 driven in. Be very interesting to see what the Cardinals do this offseason and if they can find a permanent spot for Matt Carpenter. Third baseman, second. He's played first. He can play the outfield. He's done that before. And if the Cardinals do keep him in that leadoff spot.
Bad thing for Matt Carpenter, but the good thing is he can play so many positions. It makes it easy to keep him, move him around, get him a chance to play every day. But then also the hard part for him is being moved around, playing the different positions, hitting first, hitting third. It's just you know, it's a double-edged sword where the guy's so good you keep him in the lineup and do his thing, but then for him it's tough to really narrow things down and get set in one spot all the time.
Don't you think that that was part of the defensive miscues for the Cardinals this year? The fact that there was, you know, we talk about consistency at the plate. We don't talk about the consistency of playing one position every single day and getting in a flow defensively.
Yeah, and Diaz burst on the scene kind of late in spring training and not knowing a lot of the league, and then guys moving around. It definitely plays into that. I mean, I don't think that this team was what we've seen in the past as far as range as the best group of guys, but you know, they go out there and get it done. And so we lost a little range here and there, but guys have been moving around and you're throwing different people in there. We talked about some of the guys that were supposed to be bench players and turned into everyday players, and there's a lot of, you know, 50-50 mix with that. You're going to one hand you got guys hurt, and the other hand you got guys that can go out there and play, but you're going to lose something somewhere. And I think those defensive miscues at the beginning, especially, can attribute to that, because it was a little sketchy at first.
One of the stories of this year, that's a walk to Carpenter, but the emergence of Aledmus Diaz, a spot for the better part last 5, 7, 10 years. Cardinals have not had a consistent everyday shortstop that can hit like this, but they found him now as Diaz sends a fly ball into right. Polanco over, and he makes the catch. Defensively, Matt Joyce in left, McCutcheon in center, Polanco is in right. Gunn, Florimon, Hansen, Jaso along the infield, and Pryor is behind the plate. What a tremendous season it has been for Yadier Molina. He would have to go 0 for 9 today to go below 300.
That is huge. You saw the stats of his year kind of take off to a pretty good start, then dip a little bit, and then he has caught fire the second half of this season. But it is a rewarding thing to watch a guy put in this much effort during the course of the year and see that he's going to hit 300 this year.
The 5th time in his career that he's hit above 300. Well, you look at a guy like Jed Jerko, 30 home runs, 58 RBIs. Molina, only 8 home runs, 57 driven in. One of the oddities of looking at the stats. Deep in the hole and short, and a base hit. Under the glove of Florimon, and a base hit for Yadier Molina. The Cardinals have something going here in the bottom of the first.
You talk about those home runs and those RBIs, and La Russa used to say, worry about trying to hit 300, and if you're a power guy, your home runs will come. If you're an RBI guy, your RBIs will come. So just worry about day in and day out being consistent at the plate, which Yadier does so well, and the stats will take care of themselves.
Here's Stephen Piscotty. Piscotty, solid first year, first full season in the big leagues. 272, 22 home runs, 84 driven in, and one of the best in all of baseball with runners in scoring position. Hit close to 400 all year in this spot. Runners at first and second, a walk to Carpenter. Diaz fly to right, and a base hit by Yadier Molina. Now time is called. That base hit for Molina, now a season high for him at 162.
Hit a game.
Not bad. And then you mix in the walk by Carpenter. He is the only National League player with 80 or more walks in each of the last 3 seasons. So that's why you make that case that he could be your everyday leadoff man. Finds a way to get on base. Runners at first and second. A count of 2 balls and no strikes. Piscotty pops it up on the infield. This will be Jaso with the infield fly roll. And there's 2 outs.
You know, Danny, you talk about Carp like that. I think some of the teams that I played on in the 2000s, Carp would have been our 2-hitter.
Oh, yeah.
Because Tony loved guys that could get on base, hit for average with a little bit of power. Didn't have to be big power, but I mean, he's got pretty good power, which capable of probably 25, 30, and playing every day in a comfortable situation. And you find somebody that can run a little bit better and steal some bases in front of him, you got a good start to a lineup.
Also, you're hitting in front of Albert Pujols, Jim Edmonds, Scott Rowland. You're going to see some pitches to hit.
Yeah, that would have been fun having Carpet in the 2 spot in front of the 3 of us.
So 2 on and 2 outs. Johnny Peralta. And a fastball taken for a strike. Peralta has picked it up here in the final couple of weeks of this regular season. You know, a lot of times in the must-win games, you say, well, all hands on deck. Yes, but not necessarily the case for the Cardinals with Alex Reyes and Carlos Martinez. Mike Matheny saying before the game those two are not available today. There they are. Reyes on the right. Martinez, sensational in his last start, along with Alex.
I'm sure if you ask number 50, he's not really coming out of the game anytime soon.
There's a ground ball hit to short and a forced play at second. So the Cardinals strand two, and we played an inning. The Pirates, the Cardinals, game 162, no score. To Jim Hayes.
Hey, Danny, that pinch hit home run by Matt Holliday Friday night was one of those moments you never forget. It was supposed to be his send-off. It was supposed to be the perfect goodbye. But then yesterday, key situation, Holliday comes through with an RBI single. We had Holliday on the pregame show. He told me no one's ever going to take that moment from Friday night away from me. I told Mike Matheny, if you need me, I'm here. And Holliday told me he's ready to go today if Matheny needs him to pinch hit again today. As for the possibility that things can still be worked out with the Cardinals, Holliday said the door isn't necessarily closed for me. They still need to look at their options, and I'll look at mine. And Dan Holliday still wants to play. He thinks he still has a couple of very productive years in him.
Good stuff, Jimmy. It was just an incredible moment here at the ballpark as Peralta makes the catch off the bat of Matt Joyce. I remember talking with Matt last year, and he believes he could play potentially until he's 40. Now, there's no doubting that he keeps himself in tremendous condition. It's just trying to find the right fit, and then you wonder about the fire in the belly at that point. You know, do you still want to do it? Yeah,
and he also did a pretty good job at first base this year. I mean, at times it's different, it's difficult, and the more you play there, the more you get comfortable. So, you know, that's something that can be in his future if he wants to play longer and longer, but he definitely is in shape enough to keep going. No one's ever going to question that part.
No. Alan Hansen, a switch hitter, 259, no home runs. He's driven in one. Trying to bunt his way on. We saw his speed in play in game one. It was one of the greatest sporting moments I've ever seen in person. Holliday's home run the other night.
It was pretty impressive. I mean, that's something you can only dream of, and I think it's crazy is not too many people get that opportunity, but to be here watching it was just so much fun too, because knowing him like you know him and like I know him and what a great guy he is, just being able to see him enjoy that moment was pretty special.
2 balls, 1 strike. Popped up on the infield. Diaz, 2 down. Bueno looks sharp here early on.
Definitely does. You can tell, I mean, the intensity at the beginning of the game comes straight from him. And then you see the way he takes them out and the look on his face, you know he's determined and that team's ready to go.
Most popular way to follow the Cardinals postseason push, MLB.com at bat. #1 app for live baseball. Upcoming postseason games, MLB.com. Eric Fryer hitting .259 and a fastball taken for a strike. No home runs, and he's driven in 13. Season numbers with the Cardinals and the Pirates. If you get the chance to be around Matt Holliday and see him speak at a function or see him around sick kids, you understand the kind of man that he is. And when he's out on the field, very stoic. There's not a lot of emotion one way or another. but we get the chance to see him in that regard. And that's why so many around this organization behind the scenes hold him in such high regard. That's a foul ball. You know, if you're just tuning in on television, you see the guy spitting seeds and playing left field and hitting the occasional home run, and big strong guy. But then you see him as a human being and what he's done in this community, and that's why that moment was so special for so many here. Good man. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and the next breaking ball, and struck him out. Second strikeout for Adam Wainwright. We're midway through 2. Good old Uncle Charlie. He's got it working today, and there's no score. Hey, we'll see how Dave Roberts and the Dodgers want to play it. Down by a couple of runs. There had been some reports that he would have his A lineup out there, and then as the game went and progressed, you may see some of the regulars come out. And right now a 2-0 lead for San Francisco. Here's Brandon Moss. First pitch was a ball. Moss with the home run on Friday night. And that was number 28. He's driven in 67. Hit sharply to first, and Jaso is there. 1 away. Take a look at Jim Edmonds. Toyota, key to the game.
Well, Danny, this year's been tough at home. They buck the trends. Try and go for game number 163. I say buck the trends because, one, they're trying to sweep a 3-game series here, which is tough to sweep. They haven't played well at home all year, and then the win today will get them 10 games up above the 500 mark. So got to do all that to get to where they want to go.
Who would have thought 30 home runs for Jed Jerko? And you say that because you weren't sure if he'd be an everyday player. Would he be just a bench guy and a part-timer this year, which has been part of the story, but incredible power, especially here in the second half. 30 home runs.
Friday night when we left and he hit number 29, I said I hope he hits number 30, and it was so nice to see that he did it yesterday. I was sitting at home watching the game, and it was a big home run yesterday. And you know what? It was a big home run for him personally, I'm sure.
When you get to 29, and yeah, 29 home runs, it's a lot of home runs, but 30 has a nice ring to it.
It's a big milestone when you're out there playing every day. It's just one of those things you want to go and achieve at some point in your career. It's huge.
2 balls, 1 strike. And Jerko sends a fly ball into right. Gregory Polanco over near the line and makes the catch. There's 2 down. Well, this is our final telecast. No matter if the Cardinals get to a game number 163 and then the playoffs. I want to thank the fans for watching all season long, allowing us into your living rooms. Your great support. Cardinals will finish with the 2nd best ratings in baseball this season. 17th straight year in the top 3 in Major League Baseball. That's just remarkable consistency. And we say thank you very much for everything you do for all of us at Fox Sports Midwest. It is our privilege and pleasure to do this. 2 outs. Nobody on for Grichuk. And before you know it, we'll be down in Jupiter, Florida. Spring training will be here.
Starting all over again.
And you know, spring training begins earlier this year because of the World Baseball Classic. 0-2 pitch. We talk to folks in other regions and they just marvel at the ratings that we get consistently, day in, day out. Beginning of the year, pennant push, incredible.
Starting to make me nervous. All the people listening.
Oh yeah,
and watching.
Fryer makes the play. So watch your tongue, Edmonds. Watch it. No score after 2. We'll see you at the Musial statue. Fans have been saying that for decades. Transferred that from the old ballpark to the front entrance here at Busch Stadium. Love that shot right there. You see the Greensfelder building, the arch, old courthouse. Here's Pedro Florimon. Big curveball taken for a strike. Florimon here, then Vogelsong and John Jaso. Second inning, San Francisco leads Los Angeles 2-0. So what do guys do there, Jimmy? I mean, you come in from the field, you know you need to have a little help. You go in the dugout, you may not be up that inning. Do you head into the clubhouse and maybe watch a little bit?
I think you really got to just stay in tune to the game. I think if you get caught up going back and forth, you kind of lose track of what's really going on the field out here and kind of momentum you could be involved in, and really just also cheering on your teammates. The scoreboard is up there and everybody's aware of where that game is on the scoreboard, so it's you know, you just can't really do anything but try to take care of business here and just hope LA can turn it up a notch.
3-2.
But I don't think that they haven't been playing very well, so it's going to be a tough one today.
It's lined foul. And the Giants have added to the lead now. It's 4-0. San Francisco leading the Dodgers in Vin Scully's final game behind the mic. Swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks may have chased the ball up in the zone. I think that'll be interesting too next year, is baseball and all sports, they go into an off season and you say, how can we better the game? What can we do? What are some of the rules that we need to take a look at? As Vogelsong pulls it foul, and what's been talked about a lot this year, the strike zone. Do you raise it?
Well, I remember not too long ago when I was playing the game, it seemed like at the end of the season you just went home and really worked on your game and didn't worry about much. It seems like the last couple of years, and more so I think this year, other than in any year, there's a lot of issues between time of the game and the replay and strike zone, and just a lot of things that need to be cleared up or cleaned up. So it'll be interesting, like you said, to see what happens in the big leagues, like as far as just off the field, what they're gonna do, and if they even do anything, if they just try not to squash it and say let's just move on with the game and we'll just one day at a time.
Well, I think one of the issues that we found out about that final game against Cincinnati is how you handle replay at the end of a game deciding play. There's another strikeout, 3 in a row and 4 in the game.
Are you saying you'd like to see the umpire stay on the field a little bit longer?
Just get it right. Minor the Musial Awards are here in St. Louis, and Cal Ripken will be honored. 345-5100 to get your tickets. That'll be November 19th as Jaso pulls it foul. It's the ultimate award named for Stan the Man, and Cal Ripken will be at the Peabody Opera House in St. Louis. It's the Musial Awards on November 19th. It's put on by the St. Louis Sports Commission. John Jaso grounded out to first base first time up, and that hurts. I think one of the big questions too in the offseason for the Pirates is whether or not Jaso will cut his hair.
I was just about to look for his stats, as you see probably a cutter off the front knee, front inside thigh. That cutter's nasty to a lefty, by the way. It's something you do not want to try and pull when it's on the inner half of the plate. But I quickly looked up and see some stats and how many at bats and average home runs, and you said to cut his hair. You got me.
I mean, do you?
If he doesn't, though, it's going to be pretty long.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, do you trim it up? Do you take it all off? Do you decide that maybe it's time to apply shampoo? I mean, these are all.
Or just more bleach.
These are all questions that are on the table right now concerning John Jaso's hair. There's the curveball, and it's in the dirt. Two balls and two strikes. Just missed. Could be a fascinating offseason, though, for the Cardinals and what they try to do to improve their defense. And the check swing, and that ball gets away. Did not go. Cardinals Insider gives you a behind-the-scenes look of news, features, and more this week. Get to know Luke Weaver. Recap of the Cardinals Care 6K. And watch an in-depth interview with Aledmys Diaz. It's Cardinals Insider, brought to you by your Mid-America Chevy dealers. That's coming up right after the game today. And the Giants now leading by the score of 5-0. There's a ground ball slowly hit to the right side. Jerko makes the play. Wainwright looks good today. No score. One of the memorable calls of the great Vin Scully as he calls it quits today. The 89-year-old that works games solo. And you know, if you ever heard his call of Koufax's perfect game or one of his no-hitters, and Fernando throwing that no-hitter, he gives the time. I love how he gave the time of the no-hitter. I know you grew up listening to the great Vin Scully. Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I was gonna say, like, it's weird to just think about that was just what I knew. It wasn't even a big deal. I guess how we kind of perceived Jack Buck for all those years, just really didn't understand. He was just the voice of the Cardinals.
Right.
So that was my growing up with Dodger baseball, just listening to Vin Scully, which he was just the voice of the Dodgers, and it was no big deal. It just kind of like listening to Danny Mac. I mean, that's just who's doing the game every night. I mean, this is your 19th year?
19.
19. You got about how many more to go? Like 50?
I can tell you it won't be 67.
For those of you who are scoring at home.
For those of you scoring at home.
Tell you what, I'll never forget the time that I was tying my shoes with my head down and sitting in Dodger Stadium. He says, he walks up to me and I just see these dress shoes at my feet, but my head is straight down in the ground, bent over, and I hear this, "How you doing, young man?" And I said, I didn't even look up, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Scully, how are you, sir?"
He tells so many great stories about the players as Carpenter digs in now. It's 0-2. Did he do that with you? Did he come up and start asking you about your family and how things got going for you?
That's what I was going to say, is the one thing that I think really made my parents happy that when I finally got to the big leagues, obviously, you're in the big leagues, but every time we played the Dodgers, he would say where I was from and who my parents were and where I went to high school. And so it was a big thrill. I mean, especially being from Southern California, and he made sure to mention it almost every single night. He's got a lot of time to fill and he doesn't stop talking.
Trust me, I know.
But, every night he had a story, and it's like what's weird is the memory thing, just how many things they remember. I'm in awe when I sit here and listen to you talk and how quickly you can bring things up. And Tim McKernan is like that. He knows everything. Being in St. Louis for so long, you guys have those memories, and he was like that. I mean, he just would spit stuff out so fast at you. Thought it was pretty cool.
Strikeout of Carpenter and no argument. Cardinals had a couple of runners on back in the first inning against Vogelsong, could not come through, and now he's starting to settle in this game. That's 7 in a row. That's his first strikeout, and it brings in Aledmys Diaz. Be interesting if we get late into this game, and if the Cardinals may have a lead, maybe don't, but you look up and you see the Giants a 5-0 lead. But what would be interesting, can you get Holliday out there for one more time to get recognized by the fans?
I'm
That's taken
sure,
outside.
I'm pretty sure that's going to happen at some point, especially if that game stays 5-0 or more up there. It doesn't look like the Dodgers are giving too much, I wouldn't say effort, but too much trouble to the Giants. But I'm telling you what, the Giants are getting hot, and it's an even year.
They won in 2010, 12, and 14.
And what's not favorable is the way the Dodgers have finished the year either. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in these playoffs.
World Series or bust for the Chicago Cubs. They're trying to pick up win number 103 today. You played on teams that had that amount of wins, over 100 wins, and you run away with the division. All of a sudden you have to amp it up for the playoffs. It's not easy to do.
It's a different scenario altogether. I mean, sometimes it's good to have to grind out games and really push at points, but they just ran away with it all year long. So it'll be interesting to see. You're still a pretty young team, and just have to go out there and really turn it up. But the Cubs of 2008 cruised through, and then we got swept by the Dodgers in the first round because they just did not know how to turn it up. They just were not ready for the next level. So it'll be interesting. I think the playoffs are always pretty interesting in the first round because we always have so much to compare. You always have that one team that's been sitting and kind of coasting, and maybe two, and then team that's getting hot at the end. And so is it another year of the team that's hot at the end gets going in the playoffs and then wins, or is it the best team is going to win even though they've been coasting? So I think it'll be interesting. I think the Dodgers will be interesting to see if they can kind of pull it back together. It's amazing how good the Cubs are this year, and they're still 10, 15 games off of what the Mariners did that one year.
116 for the Mariners.
Yeah, so crazy.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Diaz. Fly to right his first time up. Fastball misses inside.
Regardless, though, when you look at this, what goes on every year is so unique.
Really
is so much fun to watch, and it's been so much fun to hear all the naysayers and then all the people that are still on board. And you go through 162 games of baseball and fighting at the end, but it's so hard to win and so hard to keep every team healthy and focused for an entire season. It's unheard of, and somehow the Cardinals do it every single year.
The second walk issued by Vogelsong, and it brings in Yadier Molina. Yadi, a base hit to left, first time up. What you worry about too, the Dodgers against left-handed pitching have some of the worst numbers in all of baseball, and they've got Matt Moore they're facing today, and Moore seems to be pretty locked in. They're in the third. It's 5-0 San Francisco. Molina drives it into right center, and it gets by McCutchen. Here comes Aledmys Diaz. He will score, and it's 1-0 St. Louis.
It's a sinking line drive. Andrew McCutchen just can't get to. He almost got there. And look at Jotty just keep going. I mean, the numbers at the end of the year have been insane. Diaz hustling all the way around. Scores easy.
So a 2-out base hit by Molina. He has both Cardinal hits today. And it's now a 1-0 St. Louis lead. Piscotty, base hit into right. Molina hustling around second base. The throw to third. Standing up. So runners at first and third with 2 outs.
Gotti taking a chance here going all the way, but I'll tell you what, more times than not, you watch the guys throw from the outfield and they don't throw the ball on line. How many times you see a guy where you think from up here he's out dead to rights and the ball's offline and not anywhere close.
I always felt that your arm was a good arm, not a great arm, but a good arm. But man, you were accurate always, and that's why teams didn't run. You know, if you're accurate, you're going to get guys. They just didn't run on that team of the Cardinals.
We've been guys that spent a lot of time throwing to bases over the years and trying to just perfect that throw.
Into left center. And the catch is made by McCutchen. Cardinals strike first. 1-0. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. The Boston, Cleveland, Texas all headed to the playoffs. Detroit might have to play a makeup game depending on what takes place today. Bottom line is, though, they have to win this afternoon as it starts to rain.
Just came out of nowhere.
Sure did. So here is McCutchen. McCutchen, Gunn, and Joyce for San Francisco, or rather for Pittsburgh. San Francisco with a 5-0 lead over the Dodgers, and that's in the bottom of the third. The Pirates center fielder with an infield hit back in the first and then left stranded. Now the rain is light just a bit. Fastball right down the middle. 3-1.
Talked to a couple Pirates guys today, and it was interesting to hear what they had to say about McCutchen, about if and when he gets maybe pushed over to left field, or what's going to happen to him after his last couple years here with an option. And said he's got a lot of miles on him as far as his body's beat up. And
plays every day.
Plays every day. Plays hard. It'll be you know, it's weird when you think about in the past of if you had an MVP on your team, he wasn't going anywhere for a long time.
Curveball and struck him out. Phil Cuzzy, the home plate umpire. If the player is walking away, to me it's incumbent on the umpire to get back behind the home plate.
I didn't see what was happening, but he definitely was walking away. I think maybe sometimes when in disgust if you drop your bat or you try to do something but bat flies out of your hand or whatever it may be. They take that as an offensive gesture, and they'll sometimes yell at you to pick up your stuff, even though you're going to pick it up anyways. You know, sometimes you're obviously not going to throw your bat down as you're walking back to the dugout and walk right past it. But I'm sure that there was words spoken to get the home plate umpire to turn around.
1 ball and 1 strike. Jung Ho Gung fly to center. His first time up as the rain is picked up again. Adam Wainwright with 5 strikeouts. The cutter. This is low and away. Crew chief is Larry Vanover. That's Cuzzy. He's behind home plate. Todd Titchener at first. Vanover at second. Marquez down at third. The 3-1 pitch. 3-2. He's got a little late life with that fastball today.
It's got some movement going. The fastball, that curveball's big, breaking pretty good downward.
Ground ball hit left side, sliding. Peralta up, got him. So Kenta Maeda, the starter for the Dodgers, has allowed 8 hits. And they're only in the bottom of the 3rd. Giants a 5-0 lead. Here's Matt Joyce, who's been one of the top pinch hitters in all of baseball this year. You're mentioning McCutchen maybe shifting to left field, right field next year for the Pirates. Starling Marte, who has basically missed all of September out with a back issue. If you go by zone ratings and whatnot, if you really start to break down sabermetrically where McCutchen is defensively, he's listed as one of the worst defensive outfielders in baseball. I find that hard to believe, but those are the ratings.
Find that hard to believe too, but apparently the word is out. I mean, people have already started to talk about it, and kind of caught me off guard today, just really just talking to a few people, but wasn't necessarily saying he has to move. It was just something that they have talked about or thought about. I think the deal was it'll be interesting to see how he takes that, or if it does come into play.
3 balls, 1 strike. Raining hard now here at Busch Stadium. Pulled foul. Tell you what, the ball boys, they need to get to off-season play, because they've got to work on fielding these ground balls. They've been terrible today.
It's a little wet out there, Danny. Give him some slack.
They had a video in which they saluted the ushers here at Busch Stadium, and there's your Hyundai pitch arsenal. And all the people that were around the ushers were giving them applause, and we have 25,000 season ticket holders. That's the base, so they get to know those ushers for that particular section quite well, and they become great friends with the fans.
They're hugging it out.
There's actually a waiting list to become an usher. Here's Alan Hansen. Ground ball backhanded by Carpenter. Steps on the bag for the 3rd and final out. T-Mobile, Kenta Maeda has been taken out of that game for the Dodgers, and Matt Moore for San Francisco is through 3. It's 5-0 Giants. Well, from the Cardinals' perspective, all you can do is try to handle your business here and then see what happens out west. I'd love, though, what Major League Baseball has done, which you now have just about every game starting right around the same time, and it does build for great drama.
I think it is pretty cool.
I like it.
I do. I actually do too. I thought it was kind of funny when I first heard about it, but I mean, I guess because some of the clubs could make their own starting times for the end of the year. They could have started, you know, a little bit earlier, a little bit later, but keep people from maybe backing off and holding some guys back. But and then that's part of the game too. You know, you get a big lead, you get a chance, and you feel comfortable with your team, and you want to just kind of get your main guys out of the lineup for a couple days.
0-2 is fouled back by Moss. He grounded out to first, and he's 0 for 1. The Cardinals don't get help out west. This will be the first time under Mike Matheny that St. Louis has not gone to postseason play. And a fly ball to Andrew McCutcheon. And he makes the catch. Well, my partner Jim Edmonds will have a busy off season changing diapers.
Not so many, but a few.
Congratulations.
I was going to say that I will not have a busy offseason. I'm going to be laying low. Much like you, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I turn into a Uber driver just for 4 kids.
I'm already there. Sneak in some golf when you can.
Little golf
before it
here
gets a
and
little
there.
cold.
Yeah. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Jed Jerko. And he lines it into left center. That ball is down. And Jerko is 1 for 2. I'm the Bobby Knight of grade school basketball.
That's scary.
Yeah, I'll be throwing chairs.
I'm coming. If that's the case, son, I'm going to check this out.
Jim Hayes has informed me he'll be coaching his son's team.
Throwing some chairs.
Yeah. I'd like to go head to head with the Cat.
Ooh.
Want to know the count with 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Rain has stopped, and Jimmy, during breaks in the action, turns into a meteorologist and told me we just had a little cell overhead, and that's it.
Just a little rain. Kind of came unexpectedly, though.
It did.
Just popped up, and all of a sudden,
1 strike.
all of a sudden, people are running for the overhang. You're like, wait, where's everyone going?
I don't know how you would define Randal Grichuk's first full season as an everyday player this year. And you say full season, but part of that time spent twice in the minor leagues. As he peels off to the dugout. Back to first goes Jed Jerko. If you play him every day, does he turn into, let's say, Adam Duvall, where he hits you 30 home runs and drives in 90 to 100? May strike out a bunch, but that's who he is.
Well, that's something that, you know, there's always things to work on. That's something he's got to do this winter, is work on what he thinks is his weaknesses are and go from there. But there's always something to get better at. Consistency at the beginning of the year, he wasn't playing every day. He was getting hit or miss playing time, and then got sent down a couple times, and definitely improved after the second time. But there's still a lot of work to be done in a young player's swing, and just day to day, and learning how to handle certain pitches and pitchers. Thing is, in this league now, with seeing the same teams 18 times during the course of the season, you're seeing the same pitches, and they're trying to exploit the same weaknesses. And you know, these teams really study up on how to get guys out, and it's a big adjustment for a young player.
Some players, they take literally a couple of days off and then they're back at it, whether it be in the gym or a cage. Pitchers, they'll shut it down, but the position players, it's amazing how even when the season ends, their off season begins right away. Not all, but some.
Take a week or two off at least, but you got to think about one thing too, is during the winter you work hard on building up some strength, and during the season you try to maintain the best you can. You're not going to really build anymore, but you're losing as the year goes on, and you don't want to go home. And then my perspective was, if I take another couple weeks off, I'm going to lose even more.
Sure.
So even if you just go in there and kind of maintain a little bit of movement, and so when you start again, you're not sore. That's one way to look at it. Other guys, you know, especially with your legs, I took time off with my legs. No running, not a whole lot of lifting with the legs for a couple of weeks, but hitting for sure. I'm not touching a bat or a ball until at least the first of the year.
3 balls, 1 strike. Just hit a shot there of Lance Lynn, who will return to the Cardinals rotation. Fully recovered from Tommy John surgery.
I think Lance is one of those guys that there's a few on this team that are going to stay here in the winter and work out here with Pete in the clubhouse or in the locker room down there, and really try to stay close to the team and get some good work in, which I think is huge. You know, I think it says a lot for a young player to go or not go home in the offseason and really stick around the team and get better and work on the things that he needs to work on and get stronger and work with the strength coach. A lot of guys can just peel off, go home, and are on their own program. So I mean, Lance, I know for sure, is one of those guys. I think Colton Wong was talking about staying behind for a little bit and working out. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys. We talked about having that chip on your shoulder and what that can do for players.
It's sharply to third, off the glove of Gunn. Jerko held up at third. Wainwright to second. What a year Adam Wainwright has had at the plate.
Both a rocket. Skip on that wet dirt. Good thing they didn't hit the grass, or that really would have come up.
Oh yeah. So runners at second and third, and it brings in Carpenter. Carpenter today has walked. That was back in the first, and also was called out on strikes in the third. Outfield is straight away. Base hit could make it 3-0. That floats in there for a ball. They're now in the 4th inning. AT&T Park, and the Giants have out-hit the Dodgers 9-1, and they lead 5-0. Back-to-back years for Carpenter with 20 or more home runs. And we talk about earlier a leadoff man, and you think about it in the game today. Who's really stealing bases anyway? I mean, there's a handful of guys that steal, and then you're looking just for production.
Want a guy that can get on bases, and I think the most important part is running the bases smart. A guy who's going to score runs because he doesn't get thrown out.
Good point. The 2-0 pitch. 3-0. Diaz is on deck. 3 balls, no strikes. 3-1. Section 151 here at the ballpark. Tommy, our esteemed director, says, I'm not changing this shot for this pitch. Next year will be number 30 for Tom in our mobile unit, also known as the truck.
Mobile unit.
Bases loaded. Elevis Diaz. Well, back on Tuesday, game 2 of the 4-game set with the Reds. One of the more memorable moments of the season after his dear friend and childhood friend Jose Fernandez had passed away. He had been to the memorial service the day before, and a curtain call and an emotional night. So 3 walks issued by Vogelsong. Bases loaded. Activity in the Pirates bullpen. This big crowd in the final home game of the season ready to explode. 2 outs. And there's strike 1. Inning started with a fly out by Moss. Base hit by Jerko. Grichuk flied out. Wainwright reached on the air on a hard hit ball. And a walk to Carpenter. Great numbers this year with the bases loaded. The 0-1. 0-2. This kid's a good player, isn't he, Jimmy?
Yeah, he definitely is. Amazing at the beginning of the year. We talked about how much pop he has for shortstop. Just ball carries off of his bat, and the more you watch him, the better he gets. And even a guy like this has got a lot to work on in the offseason with going back and look at your season, what you did well and what you didn't do well. And it's funny, you can say a guy like this can end up hitting 300 in the big leagues, but yet there's a few things that he can work on, and it'll be fun to watch, especially him grow and a couple of these younger players grow each and every year.
Nothing in 2 the count. Bases loaded. Outside.
Fans acknowledging the fact that the Dodgers have woken up.
Now 5-1. San Francisco.
A little early on the West Coast.
The 1-2. And now Fryer wants to visit with Vogelsong. Two and 2 the count with 2 outs and the bases loaded. The 2-2 pitch. Pulled foul.
Watch out, Hammer.
The quick reactions of Chris Maloney.
I was doing the game with you that one day, and he got hammered on the ankle bone.
Oh, yeah. They thought it may have been a break. He was hit so hard.
It's a little too close for comfort.
Two and two. Now Vogelsong again steps away. Big, deep breath by Diaz. Digs in the batter's box. Diaz off the end of the bat, out to shallow left, and the catch is made. It stays a 1-0 St. Louis lead. Baseball celebrating the career of legendary broadcaster Vin Scully. That's the pins that all the broadcasters are wearing today. You've noticed that with Hungo and Scott, Jimmy, myself, the cat, all wearing these rather large pins to celebrate the career of Vin Scully.
Bigger is always better, Danny. Rather large.
It's a big pin, isn't it?
It is a big pin. It's the first one I've seen in a while that has two little pinholes to keep it in place.
If I'm leaning to my left, it's the weight of the pin
Pulling you down?
Yes. By the way, they changed the air on Gung to a double for Wainwright. So he's back out there for inning number 5. This is Eric Fryer. And a breaking ball drops in for his strike.
I didn't have to change it on my book, my friend. Right there. Double.
Oh, you already had it down.
Yep.
Did you talk to the official scorer?
Nope. I just thought it was a double.
Fights it off, and a base hit into center field. The excitement of the season is sure to continue at Cardinals spring training in 2017. And spring training makes the perfect getaway for fans of all ages. For more details, visit cardinals.com/vacations or 800-892-7687. And a strike to Pedro Florimon, who struck out back in the 3rd. Wainwright is struck out 5. He's walked 2 and has not allowed a run. Runner at first, Eric Fryer. What a dream that must be. Vin Scully, and you don't have to work with an analyst. My goodness.
So wrong. Or 4 different analysts, or 5.
You guys have driven me to head to the postseason.
You're the only guy that's like, season's over.
Oh no, I
can't take these guys anymore.
I love hanging out with you guys.
Just maybe now we could just hang out every day on the golf course. Yeah,
well,
probably not.
I don't love you that much.
I didn't think so.
It'd be great to get away from Tim Garcia up here in the booth. That's one of the real positives of an off season, not having to see Tim, Tom, me, Brian McCann, our producer.
Our mobile unit.
In the mobile unit, the great Keith O'Brien and his top assistant Keith Oberman. Next time we'll see them is in Jupiter.
All too soon, Danny, all too soon.
And I have to be honest, I will see them. We'll probably call each other on Tuesday wanting to know what we're all doing because we're bored.
Takes about 2-3 days.
Yeah.
2 days. I'll give you till Wednesday.
3-2, throw to second and out. It's a double play. 6th strikeout for Wainwright and a bullet by Molina.
Yachty kind of looked right there like he had been tired of guys getting good jumps off his pitching staff and himself and had enough. I'm jumping out of here and I'm making sure that everyone knows I can still throw.
That was not an easy pitch either. That was a breaking ball. And he gets Fryer, and now Vogelsong is up.
Threw a missile down to second base. You can see a little extra oomph.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And a base hit into center field. So 2-out hit for Vogelsong.
Seen a few times this year where Yachty's really not even had a chance to throw.
And it's been more than a few.
Yeah,
a lot.
Put an end to that right here.
The great Landon Edmonds has just brought me Dippin' Dots.
They're going to miss that part.
Here's John Jaso with 2 outs and a runner at first and strike 1.
Landon's assistant brought you some napkins.
Very nice. Well, Landon has done great work on our stats throughout the year when he's been up here. And
supplying some food.
He showed me how to use Snapchat earlier, and we made goofy faces. And now he brings me Dippin' Dots. He is one talented kid. Off of Wainwright, and everybody will be safe. Almost caught that ball.
I was going to say, almost got that. Good reaction. Jaso's taking some good swings today.
So runners at first and second. Gregory Polanco at the dish. He is struck out, and he also grounded out to second. Fastball that's taken high. Big gap in left center. This is a dangerous man at the plate in Polanco. Curveball outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Three and 0. And he walked him. And that may be a scenario in which you are pitching around Polanco to bring up a very dangerous situation here in Andrew McCutchen. Maybe.
That all depends. You know, there's a lot of history between McCutchen and Waino, and he knows if he's got a better chance of getting him out or get a right-hander and he can throw some sinkers, get a ground ball. And a guy like Polanco, if he hits a sinker the other way, can hit it in the hole between short and third. Somebody catches it, has a chance to beat it out for an infield single and slap the ball in the gap. So that's one of those things that we talk about all the time. You never know what's going on until you're down there and in the minds of these players that are playing the game.
Remember, McCutchen, he's got 56 plate appearances against Wainwright, but he had words with the home plate umpire. He struck out looking back in the fourth. He also has an infield hit. Bases loaded. And that pitch misses inside, and see Molina just hold it there, and that's his way of saying he thinks it's a strike.
Sometimes the arguing works. See?
Similar spot to the ball that was called a strike in his previous at bat. So 2 outs, bases loaded, and the 1-0 pitch.
Dialed it up a notch right there. 94 on the gun here inside the stadium.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. McCutchen laces it out to left field, and 2 runs will score, and now the Pirates have the lead. It's 2-1.
Thought Waino was trying to set him up there. Did a good job throwing the ball inside, 2 pitches in a row, and then trying to get that breaking ball down and away, and just left it on the inner half.
I'm sure the at bat, though, he's really kicking himself with is Vogelsong picking up the base hit. There's 2 outs, nobody on, and he singled. Jaso the base hit. Walk to Polanco. A base hit, 2 RBIs for McCutchen. He now has 79, and it brings in Jung Ho Gun. So 2 outs and 2 on. And Gunn looks at strike 2. Cardinals have a right-hander getting loose in the pen. The 0-2 pitch. It's Miguel Sokolovic. One ball and 2 strikes. Popped up into shallow right center field. Catch is made by Randall Grichuk. Andrew McCutchen strikes, and the Pirates have a 2-1 lead. 2-1. San Francisco leads the Dodgers 5-1. That's in the 5th. The BJC Healthcare difference maker is Yadier Molina. Most starts, Cardinals catchers all time. And remember how the season began. The idea was,
give him some rest.
Let's get him some time off.
Well, he did. He had a few games off. 20?
Yeah.
Think about that, though. He had 20 games off. Seems like a lot.
We're talking about how players recoup and what they do in the offseason. I wonder if Molina just takes a couple of weeks and
lays flat on his back.
Yeah. Just lays in bed.
Lay in a hot tub and get some blood back in those legs. And
wouldn't blame him, would you?
No. Tell you what, he's come a long way. First time I saw him in spring training, little pudgy Yadi Molina came in and they worked his butt off all spring training, and then they made him go sit back there in the back of the weight room and ride the bike for a half hour every day after practice was over. And I thought, man, this poor kid. Yep, he did that for a little bit of a spring training, and then next thing you know, he just come into camp in better shape every year on his own, and he's turned into one of the best catchers of all times.
I believe he is a Hall of Famer. And when people look at his numbers, and the offensive numbers have to improve a little bit as we go along, just with longevity. But when you look down and you start to see the man has hit 300 5 different times, that's a plus. He could have been the MVP of the 2006 World Series. The gold gloves and the platinum gloves are starting to mount up. And the other fact is he's played on championship teams, which really hurt Ted Simmons, who was a great hitting catcher, switch hitter. But Molina, it's been just about every year he's in postseason play. And he's a big reason why the Cardinals get there. As Piscotty taps it foul. A neat shot at San Francisco with Vince Scully with his entire family in the booth. What do you think it's like at a family dinner at the Scully household for Christmas?
Well, with that shot, there's a lot of them. So over the years that he's been around, I'm sure that the family has grown and grown and grown. And I think that would be pretty cool. That'd be your dad or your grandpa or even your great grandpa right now, telling you stories.
You think he starts by, you know, it's time to cut the turkey.
At 7:01 Tuesday.
Hanger, and it's popped up. You know, turkeys, they started, I mean,
Pretty good.
He'd give you everything you wanted to know about
where they came from,
yeah,
how they got their name.
The name of the one that you're eating. Unforgettable games, undeniable greatness, and unstoppable drama. The 2016 postseason begins October 4th. So all you have to do is head to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule.
Was your turkey's name Tom?
Wait a minute, are you talking about Tom Mee, our director?
Oh, I forgot about him. He's a mobile turkey in the mobile unit. Sounds like the SWAT group.
They do such a great job for all of us, those behind the scenes. Dawn up here with us, our entire crew, and we appreciate their hard work throughout the season. Rain or shine, battling the elements night after night. As Peralta pulls it foul. 5 hits aside, a 2-1 Pittsburgh lead. Jammed him, popped up into shallow right field, and the catch is made. So the Cardinals go quietly here in the bottom of the 5th. We head to the 6th. 2-1 Pirates on Fox Sports Midwest. I'm going to head to Scott Trade this year. I'm going to go see some games.
I'm going with you.
You want to go together?
Heck yes. I think I got we got a trio. If you look to your right, somebody else wants to go too.
Well, Landon will tag along. I know that. And I'll bring my 25 kids, and
there you go.
We'll have a grand old time. Here's Matt Joyce. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Joyce popped out to third baseman Johnny Peralta, and he also walked. Fastball misses in.
Can imagine going to a Blues game with your group and my group.
Oof.
Maybe just your group.
Fights on the ice, fights in the seats. Guaranteed. Base hit by Joyce. I miss that, by the way, in the game of baseball. You don't see a good old fashioned umpire argument anymore because of replay. And I think sometimes we forget this is the entertainment business. You know, you want to get the plays right. I get it. But ultimately, you have to entertain the fans.
It's definitely some good old days of the arguments with the umpires and even the players. I mean, you're right. It has kind of squashed replays. Really squashed everything. I like when the umpire or the manager get into it now, because they say, obviously, don't come out here, and he says, I just got it. This is not right. I'm coming out anyways.
Right.
I know I'm throwing out, but I'm coming out anyways.
And you can't argue balls and strikes. When Joe Madden was tossed last time that the Cubs were here in St. Louis with the pitching change and the near no hitter, but you just don't see it anymore. And you don't see fans turn away from a fight in hockey. May not like it, but they don't. And when you have a good old-fashioned argument in baseball, I think fans get a kick out of it. They start cheering and clapping, and they love it. Tony got into some good ones.
Sometimes they do it to charge up the team, charge up the stands.
1-2 is a high fly ball into right field. Looks to be playable, and it is. Catch made by Piscotty. Strong throw into second, and safe at second. And Diaz is saying, review it, take a look. What a strong throw there by Piscotty.
Mike's got his foot on the top step, as to say, I'm following the rules.
10 seconds to do that.
My foot's
then
up there.
Within 30 to say thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm going to make that challenge.
Ooh.
Did he get him on the toe?
The first slide by.
Boy, that's close.
Bad angle right here, but can't really tell if he got the toe.
Well, the Cardinals say they will take a look.
Looks like he got him on the toe right there. But you never know what they're going to say.
Well, from Mike Matheny's perspective, you're in the 6th inning. You may not have a chance to challenge the rest of the way with the game. You just don't know. So you got a runner at second base in scoring position. Why not use it here? Very, very close.
It's going to be a tough one to overturn, I think, though.
Mike and David Bell, along with everybody else, looking up at the video board here in St. Louis. Remember the first year replay, they used to not show the replays here at the ballpark. So you're just left hanging out, chit-chat with guys like Jim Edmonds.
No idea what's going on. To say they're not going to overturn that. Needed a little movement out of the foot or the glove, I think, to make it a little bit more obvious, and just didn't really get any kind of movement to overturn it. So if you're scoring at home, play on the the play on the field stands is called.
Yeah.
What do they say in the NFL? Ruling on the field. I like that, though. I really like the fact that they tell you what's going on.
In my mind, they've got to do that in baseball. It's got to happen.
Somewhere. They got to let you know.
Yep. You've got 40,000 people here that are sometimes curious about various calls. I mean, there could be.
How they missed it or how they.
Yeah, I mean, there could be 3 different things they might be looking at, and you're left to guess and wonder. Sokolovich throwing again in the Cardinals pen. Second time that he's been up. This is Eric Fryer at the plate with 1 out and a runner at second base. The Giants in the top of the 6th with a 5-1 lead over LA. That means nothing if the Cardinals don't come back. The 0-2 pitch. Instead, time is called. It's your first year in the booth. Did you enjoy it?
You know, I liked almost every bit of it except for sitting right here next to you. I don't know why. That part was just the hardest part for me. Made it really rough sometimes, but I'm getting over it.
I'm going to ask the men and women of the mobile unit to cut Jimmy's mic. Your off season begins now.
I had a great time. It was a great learning experience. I got to hang out here with you, who I underestimated over the years as what a amazing talent and professional that you are. And I learned a lot, and I got to stay around the game a little bit more. I think that's cool. And I got to bring up our assistant here to eat some sunflower seeds and get you ice cream.
He's been the best addition, believe me.
Thanks.
You've done a great job. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun. We'll do it again next year.
Hopefully they'll have me back.
Absolutely.
Just a young player, need a lot of work. Going to go in the off season and really work hard, get in shape.
Jimmy, our status is we are all day to day.
Every day's a record, as Pete Prinzi would say.
That's right. Outfield very shallow. The 1-2 pitch. And he struck him out. With 7 strikeouts. Here is Pedro Floriman. Pitcher's spot due up next. Antonio Bastardo is throwing in the pen for Pittsburgh. Left-hander. Aaron Sanchez has no-hit the Red Sox through 6 innings at Fenway Park. Trying to pitch the Blue Jays into postseason play. Grichuk very shallow in center again. And a ground ball pulled foul. So 0-2 the count with 2 outs. Final game for Ryan Howard, the St. Louis native, with the Philadelphia Phillies. Vin Scully's final game. Final game for Dick Enberg. There's a strikeout. 2 in a row and 8 this afternoon for Adam Wainwright. Our Chevy called to the bullpen is Antonio Bastardo, left-hander. Brandon Moss leads it off for the Cardinals, who trail by the score of 2-1. And the first pitch to Brandon Moss is hit out of play. Hyundai pitch arsenal, fastball, slider, and change from Bastardo. The Pirates picked up 2 runs. The bases loaded single back in the 5th. Cardinals picked up their run on a base hit by Molina in inning number 3. Cardinals will be back at Busch Stadium if they do not make it to the play-in game tomorrow for opening day against the Chicago Cubs. They'll open up with the Cubs in 2017. One and two the count. Outfield is deep. Cardinals have to figure out in terms of roster decisions what to do with Brandon Moss, a free agent to be. Very tough way to finish up his season, as his numbers went south in September. The 2-2 pitch. And Moss hits a fly ball. Late break by Polanco, but he's under it and makes the catch. One away. Power Stats presented by Kubota. So Jed Jerko 1 for 2 in this game. 30 home runs. Those are your home run leaders for the St. Louis Cardinals. The first pitch to Jerko. Our crowd today, 44,615. 44615. 19th sellout of the year. The average attendance this year was 42,525. Well over 3.4 million fans came through the turnstiles. It's the 5th highest attendance in franchise history, over 3.4. The highest was 2007 following the World Championship year of 06. Cardinals finish up second in Major League Baseball in attendance. The Dodgers #1 and the Cardinals #2, followed by the Blue Jays, the Giants, and the Chicago Cubs. So once again, 3 million in attendance. 13 straight years the Cardinals have done that. The 20th time in franchise history, and the Cardinals, I know, do not take that for granted. Very appreciative to the fans. 3-0, and you know he's got the green light. They're in the bottom of the 6th, and it's 5-1 San Francisco. Randall Grichuk on deck. And the 3-0 pitch to Jerko. Let's say he and Moss do not get cheated.
More so as the year has passed on. I think
agreed.
The Jed has really gotten a good feel of what his role is and how he's been swinging the bat. It seems like he's been more aggressive and more aggressive as the year has gone forward.
And he takes a walk. So the tying run will come the form of Jerko at first base. The go-ahead run at the plate in Randall Grichuk. Grichuk fouled. It popped out to Fryer. Also flied out to left. He's 0 for 2. Ray Searage, the pitching coach of the Pirates, out to visit.
Ray Searage's last year in professional baseball was my year I was in AAA. He was on my team.
Ray was?
Yep.
He had some Cardinal ties in the minor leagues. It's where George Kissel, the great George Kissel, told Ray Searage, you need to get into coaching. And that's why he did it. He thought he'd be a very good coach, and they say he has worked wonders with a lot of the pitchers that they brought into Pittsburgh. Kind of the guru of those reclamation projects. I don't know about you. I'm a little surprised they're letting Bastardo pitch to Grichuk. The expanded rosters, you're covered. There's no question about that. They have a ton of lefties in their pen. This might be a good matchup here for Randall. 1 out, runner at first.
Ray was 37 years old in AAA with me, and I was 22.
22. Hughes and LeBlanc getting loose in the pen. No balls, a strike, 1 out, runner at first. And the next to Grichuk. Jose Martinez has moved to the on-deck circle. He would be the pinch hitter for Adam Wainwright. And a swing and a miss, and he struck him out. So Bastardo gets Grichuk, and now it's Martinez. I'm sure a lot of fans are saying, why not Holliday potentially in this spot? Maybe Mike's thinking save him even later in the game if need be. But you can see either way. Two outs, runner at first. Wainwright exits trailing 2-1. Jerko stays put at first base. You can see that Bastardo really slows down with runners on. Martinez has made a name for himself. He's got the attention of the Cardinals here this stretch run. 1-0 pitch. And a base hit into center field. He's done a nice job.
This young man's a good hitter. He's had some good numbers in the minor leagues, and he's got a good looking swing and nice and quick to the ball right there for being a really big guy. I like him.
He's about 6'6". So here is Carpenter. Couple of walks and a strikeout. A base hit could tie this game. Carpenter looks at a ball. The 1-0 pitch. If you want to take it to look at some of the rules in baseball, they might want to get the attention of Bastardo about pace of play.
With the shot clock.
Now he steps on the pitching rubber. See Martinez just hopping, trying to stay loose at first.
The pace of play will definitely be tested during the playoffs. These games get long, long, long.
The 2-0. 3-0. Diaz is on deck. They did have Hughes, the right-hander, up and throwing, and you'd have to assume that if Carpenter reaches, Hughes is coming in the game. .30 pitch. Carpenter, high drive, right center, carry out of here! 3-run homer, Carpenter! Got the green light and made the most of it. They knock out the lefty. Great moment, the final regular season game. Number 21, RBI 65, 66, 67. Everybody not sure, and then there's the reaction. As Diaz, the first pitch by Hughes, fouls it for strike one. 4-2 now, Cardinals on top. That's ripped. Foul.
Look out down there, Danny. Need to have a glove if you're sitting that close to the season, to the field.
Here's a 1-2. And he struck him out. Carpenter, 3-run homer. And the Cardinals back on top. Matt Carpenter with home run number 21 as the Cardinals need to win to stay alive. 4-2 our score. It's our Chevy call to the pen. They're in the bottom of the 7th. The Giants leading 5-1 over Los Angeles. Numbers on Broxton this year. So Jared Hughes came in to face one batter, and now it's Frazier as the pinch hitter. And he slaps a base hit to left. And the tying run will come to the plate. We're in the top of the 7th, 4-2 St. Louis. Brings in the first baseman, John Jaso. Hyundai pitch arsenal there on Jonathan Broxton. You know, many times the final game of a regular season. The game means nothing at all in terms of the standings, and you might see Yadier Molina go out to start the game, but come out after an inning and warm up the pitcher in the second, then leave to a standing ovation. The same can be said for many of the position players to be taken out, and a final time for the crowd to acknowledge them and them to acknowledge the fans. But right now you're still in a pennant race. But that window is closing with what's happening in San Francisco. Deep drive, right field, and this game is tied. That doesn't help either. 2-run homer, John Jaso.
Fastball right down the middle of the plate. I'll tell you what, I said it earlier. He seems like he's swinging the bat. It's only 1 for 2 before that home run, but some vicious swings out of Jaso.
And now Gregory Polanco. Fastball, then a strike.
There you get a look at that hair, Danny.
Catches the outside corner. Polanco spins away. He didn't like that. 0-2 the count. And a swing and a miss, and Broxton picks up the strikeout. Here's McCutchen. And a bases loaded single that scored 2. That gave the Pirates a 2-1 lead. Carpenter 3-run blast. Now a 2-run homer by Jaso. There's strike 1. Baltimore leading New York. That's in the top of the 9th, 5-2. Toronto in the bottom of the 7th at Fenway Park, 1-1 with Boston. Detroit trailing the Atlanta Braves 1-0. That's in the top of the 8th. It'll be the final game ever at Turner Field. It was built for the Olympics. The Braves had an incredible run at that ballpark with their great pitching, as McCutchen drills it out to left, and it'll stay in the ballpark. The swing, the way it sounded, the trajectory off the bat, I initially thought it's 5-4 Pittsburgh.
Would have thought that was a homer too. I think Matt Carpenter hit his pretty good, and I don't think it carried as much as it should have. A little bit of a cloudy, heavy day today. Ball not flying.
So 2 outs, and here is Gung. And a strike. Broxton has another year remaining on his deal. He'll be back next season with the Cardinals. The 0-1 pitch. A little bit low. One ball and 1 strike. 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. Chaso, a home run. And it's tied it up. It's now 4-4, and it's time to strike. It's a Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Juan Nicasio, the Chevy called to the pen. He began this year in the rotation as he battled it out for the number 5 spot with Ryan Vogelsong. And now working out of the pen. It's been a solid year for the right-hander. And a strike to Yadier Molina. Molina, a couple of base hits today. Cardinals have been out hit 8-7. We're tied 4-4. Neither team has committed an error. St. Louis is stranded 7. The Pirates 6. Wainwright had a chance for a win until that 2-run homer. Fastball misses, and it's 2-2. You never know. This could be the final plate appearance of the year for Yadier Molina. They're in the bottom of the 7th. 5-1 Giants leading Los Angeles. Three and 2. I would assume once the season ends, the players, though, they do find a way just to get away from it, decompress. You have to.
Yeah, you definitely have to, and it's a lot of stress during the course of the regular season, and obviously being a Cardinal in St. Louis, you get recognized a lot and get to go back to your hometown and kind of just be a nobody.
Fair ball and a ground rule double. Molina is still running.
Oh.
And it's touched. Oh my goodness. It is touched by the ball boy.
That's a home run if the ball boy doesn't pick it up.
It is, and Marquez was waving his arms as the safe call, but I would have to say that it did touch the sidewall and apparently touched by a fan. It definitely was a fair ball initially, if you're wondering. So Molina, knowing the rules, he was off and running.
He's exhausted.
So that's fair. And it hit the bar there.
But if it hits the bar on the top of the wall, I believe that ball can bounce back in play. If it hits the bar on the stand side, then that's a dead ball.
I like the guy that picked it up.
You can see the bar to the right, the short bar. That ball, I think that ball's in play. Yachty just got himself a triple. That bar right there on the right is in play, I believe.
But
the
did
bar
it hit
on the left?
Yeah, I thought it hit the one on the left.
I originally thought it hit a person. That would have cut down all the. You can't really tell from this angle, but you can see it hit one of those bars in the back. It looks pretty tough to tell.
Well, at least Clint Hurdle immediately gets the attention of the umpires, as opposed to what we saw the other night. It's at least a double. The ball boy, ball teenager, the ball 20-something guy.
He's not the ball grown up today.
No. He picked it up and then dropped it like, hey, man.
Sorry.
My bad. I didn't mean to.
No one else was going to get it. He was like, no one else is getting it, so I might as well go pick it up.
I didn't mean to get it. Go ahead. It's yours.
Then you just throw it in the stands and pretend like nothing ever happened. This is the only camera angle we got. They're not going to change this. Keep it rolling. Wow.
So it hit the bar inside the wall.
And if that's
so
the angle that they show, the replay, that could be just a double.
And you, having played at this ballpark many years, you know that iron that's on top of the wall is in play. Right?
I am not taking anything for granted, though, and I'm picking up the ball and stopping the runner, no matter what, or I'm screaming at the left fielder.
Remember, it was Molina the other night that hit that ball that turned out to be the game-winning hit against Cincinnati, which should have been a ground rule double. So he's getting the benefit of a lot of plays.
2 in 1 week.
And this turns out to be a very important call coming up. It's still not done yet. Giants leading 5-1, but obviously if you're a Giants fan, this is an important call, and a Cardinal fan. So he goes back to second base. Ooh.
1 for 2.
Last inside the park home run, by the way, if you're wondering, was Fernando Vina. It was at Milwaukee, and it was on this date in 2001.
That was really close.
And so now Piscotty can give the Cardinals a lead again. 4-4 our score. Molina, your runner at second base. It's a 3-hit day for Yadier Molina. Big gap in left center. The 2-0 pitch. Powell put out a play to the folks to the right side, just below us. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Fights it off. Base hit. Here comes Yadi. Chugging on home. Cardinals back on top. 5-4 St. Louis.
Steven does a nice job here, not trying to do too much. Put the ball in play, fights off a really good fastball. This guy's got an electric fastball. Does his job, tries to keep inside the ball, hit the ball the other way. At least move him over to third and get him in if you get lucky. And he did both.
Good read too by Molina. He fights it off. You're thinking maybe the second baseman can get to that ball, but He saw it all the way. It scores. Piscotty picks up the RBI. And it's another visit by Ray Searage. Matt Moore for the Giants in a must-win scenario for them in many ways if they want to head to postseason play. They could lose today and still have a chance, but he's pitched tremendous baseball. They are in the 8th. The starter for San Francisco, and it's 5-1. The Giants on top of LA. Wonder if Vin just signs off in a normal fashion, or if he's got something special.
I'm sure we'll probably hear it at some point. He is not doing the playoffs at all, right?
No, he said this is it. Here's Johnny Peralta with a runner at first and nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Peralta fights it off, and that's a base hit. Piscotty stopping at second. Wade LeBlanc is getting loose in the pen. You'd think he'd be used in this spot facing a left-hander. And right as we say that, Clint Hurdle hops out of the dugout. He's going to make the change. 5-4 our score. It's our Chevy call to the pen. This season with Seattle and Pittsburgh, he's made 8 starts, 18 appearances. And LeBlanc is coming in to face Brandon Moss. The Cardinals have gone back on top. So Brandon Moss, 28 home runs, hitless today. Runners at first and second. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. The Orioles reached the postseason, 3rd time in 5 seasons. 5-2 win. Now they await the results of Toronto and Boston, Detroit, Atlanta for their wild card opponent. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a nice bruise to take to the offseason right there. Oh.
Right above that protective gear.
Tell you what, that is going to hurt tomorrow.
Well, Piscotty with that base hit, the runner in scoring position, 366 his average. That's the highest for a Cardinals since Alan Craig. Craig hit .457 with runners in scoring position in 2013.
Wow.
1 ball, 1 strike. Inside. I see the wave going, and that makes me think of one thing. Jim Hayes. Jim so many times is able to get the crowd riled up with the wave. Moss out to right. That's down. Base hit. And the base is loaded for Jed Jerko. Jerko with home run number 30 yesterday. And now a chance to bust this game wide open. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the 7th. Nobody out. He has walked today. He also singled back in the 4th.
This be 4 days in a row for him for number 31.
Jerko, ground ball, it's to third and off the glove of Gung, and everybody is safe, and a run scores to make it a 6-4 St. Louis lead. So Gung could have been his second error of this game, because there was the ball hit by Wainwright, sharply hit, that initially was called an error, then ruled a double for Wainwright, and a costly mistake here. Randall Grichuk. Matt Adams has moved to the on deck circle. Grichuk fouls it back for strike 1. Popped out, foul territory back in the 2nd. Flied out in the 4th to left, and struck out in the 6th. Big gap in right center, and the 0-1. Nobody throwing in the Pirates' pen. The Cardinals have Kevin Segrist getting loose in their pen. 1 ball, 1 strike with the bases loaded. And that is a fair ball. 1 run is in. Here comes another. Grichuk on his way to second. Jerko to third, and everybody is safe. 8-4 St. Louis. Right over the bag. It's where it goes over the bag, and then the ball boy, yeah, get that out of here. So now it's Adams. The Cardinals leading 8-4. Runners at second and third. The infield is drawn in for Pittsburgh. Outfield is deep. Adams out in front. Matt has made a name for himself in this spot this year. He's been one of the Cardinals' top pinch hitters. 12 for 37, 3 homers, and he's driven in 12. Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Adams, high fly ball hit down the right field line. The catch is made. Runner tags up. Throw to the plate is not in time. Jerko scores, and it's a 5-run St. Louis lead. Nissan drive of the game. Cardinals trailing, and on a 3-0 count, Carpenter, 3-run homer. Infield still in. 9-4, runner at third, 1 out. Fastball and a strike. It's now a 7-1 San Francisco lead. The umpire may have been nicked by that foul ball, so Carpenter steps away. The Cardinals with 8 runs combined in the 6th and the 7th inning to open up a 9-4 lead. You know, it's crazy. You think back in a long season, if you just would have done this, that game, if you just would have won that game, and you fall potentially 1 game short.
That came up in about the 4th inning. We were talking about it. You kept going somewhere else, but I was going to say it's kind of a good teaching tool for young players early in their career, because I learned it in 1995. We came up 1 game short. But now you understand where your manager's always preaching about playing the game the right way, driving in runs when you need to, doing the things you're supposed to do day in and day out to win each game.
A fly ball that'll score Randall Grichuk, and a big day for Matt Carpenter. As he drives in his 4th of the afternoon, and it's now a 10-4 St. Louis lead.
You know, you got to play the game, and you got to try and figure out a way to win each game, and this is a good teaching lesson for some of these guys to, like, let you know how valuable each and every game is, because in April or May, until you've been put in this situation, you don't get it. You're a young player. You just go out and play the game and let the chips fall where they may, and don't really put an emphasis on maybe driving a guy, moving a guy over by driving a ball into right field in a meaningless game in April. But you get to this point and you come up 1 game short, you might rethink your season again, and it's a good lesson for them to learn, and something maybe you hit on in spring training the next year, and hopefully make some of these guys better players.
The Tigers get shut out by the Braves. Blue Jays clinch a wild card berth. If the Jays would win today, and they are leading 2-1 in the 8th, they host Tuesday. If they lose, they'll play in Baltimore. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Aledmys Diaz. Let's pull the foul. Now, if my numbers are correct, if Diaz does not get a hit here, his average would be at 299.5. So then you round up, you're 300.
Let's hope so.
The 2-1. Good changeup. I wonder if the Cardinals find out that they are eliminated at some point. Does Mike Matheny pull guys like a Molina? Does he give Holliday a chance at 1 more ovation from this crowd? And some of the things that you might normally see on a closing day.
Maybe not let Diaz have another at bat. Keep him at that 300 mark. It's a big deal. Hit 300.
You bet it is. You bet. 3-2 the count with 2 outs. Diaz pulls it foul. I believe they are headed to the 9th now in San Francisco. And the score is the Giants 7, the Dodgers 1. Out in front and pops it up. Eric Fryer is there and puts it away. Big inning for the Cardinals. They put up a 6 spot, and it's 10-4. Keffer is in for the St. Louis Cardinals. This will be his 26th appearance. No wins, no losses. ERA of 5.85. Sergio Romo is into the game for the San Francisco Giants, 7-1 in the 9th. Cardinals have been trying to get to 10 games above 500. Had multiple opportunities to do it, and they couldn't get there. And on the final game of the season, it looks like they will get there, and it looks like it'll be just short. Here's Matt Joyce, and the first pitch is taken for a ball. Here's a 1-0 and a ground ball hit to Jerko. I want to thank Tom Mee, our outstanding director, Brian McCann, our producer, Keith O'Brien, our entire crew, Jimmy the Cat Hayes, who does such a great job on our pre and post game shows. Rick, Jim, Al, Tim, Scott Warman, all the people that put the games on. And believe me, these people care, and they want to put on the best product we possibly can, and they are truly the best in the game. Here's Alan Hansen. And Hansen lifts a fly ball into right. Long way to go, Piscotty, and he's there. And the Giants are now 1 out away from a win. Line drive and a base hit into center. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the content descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. That pitch taken down and in.
Danny, I think if you're Mike Matheny too, you really can't take for granted and start moving guys around in this game that we're playing here until this game in LA is over.
Right.
So maybe once that game ends, you'll see a couple guys enter the game or see what happens, but I think you got to play it out. He's doing the best he can with leaving his guys in there and playing the game the right way.
The 2-0 is a ground ball charging. Diaz gloves, throws, got him. The Pirates may want to take a look at this. Glenn Hurdle has gotten the umpire's attention. No challenge. 10-4 St. Louis. Now a final in San Francisco. The Giants have officially eliminated the St. Louis Cardinals. 7-1. So the Giants come in and they are able to or at least host the Dodgers and sweep them. I wonder if Mike Matheny has given any thought to pulling Molina in this spot and give him that standing ovation. Probably we'll see it next inning with Yachty maybe going out behind home plate, then taken out of the game. Molina will finish this year hitting well above 300. He's 3 for 4 today.
Just another incredible year by Yachty. Said it so many times, but just insane what a workhorse he is and how much he just keeps getting better and better at the plate. Still one of the best throwing catchers, defensive catchers in the league. Fun to watch, isn't it?
Oh man, he's worth the price of admission. There's no question about it. One ball and 2 strikes. The chance of Yachty here at the ballpark. And the 2-2. Ground ball hit to third. I'd love to hear one more ovation specifically for that man. You wonder what's going through his mind right now too. Could be the final time he ever puts on that Cardinal uniform.
It's tough Wade watching this last game, and a lot of emotions going through his mind, a lot of thoughts.
No balls and a strike on Stephen Piscotty. You have to say that this has been a very good first full year in the major leagues for Piscotty. Chance of Holliday. Then you're Greg Garcia and you get booed for being Greg Garcia.
Thankless job.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Three and 0.
They're trying to get him to do something.
Yep.
Something going on down there.
This place will explode if they see him one more time. Garcia. Swing and a miss. Three-two. Out to center and a base hit for Garcia. Not sure if Holliday would want to pinch hit. with the way that it's ended for him with the home run and then the big hit yesterday, but these fans, they want to see him one more time.
I'd like to see him come out. Might run him out there on defense for half an inning or a few seconds maybe. So many guys in the dugout, though, anything could happen. Could throw a whole other team out there for the 9th inning.
We said it the other night, if people knew what kind of guy Holliday is beyond the player, beyond the stoic look, but see him in the community, the countless things that he does for sick children, sick families, generosity with his money, his time, his name. He's an incredible man. They're chanting Holliday again. No balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. That sends us to the 9th. The Cardinals have a 10-4 lead. The commercial break. He took the field. The only one. Standing ovation, tears welling up, both teams applauding Holliday. His teammates went out of the dugout. The chance of Holliday.
There you go, Danny.
One last time for Matt Holliday. Jason Rogers at the plate. Incredible moment. Dean Kekeffer in his 2nd inning of work. See at one point Holliday kind of look around, take it all in. Great moment. That rolls foul. Carson Kelly is your new catcher.
Pretty nice job the fans did right there. recognizing the moment. Obviously, it was put right in front of them, but it's a nice ovation.
Ground ball that's hit to short. Aledmys Diaz.
Looks like he's throwing a no-hitter right now, sitting in the dugout by himself.
Here's Jaso. Home run earlier in this game. It tied it up at 4. Cardinals, if they win this game, would finish at 86 and 76. Missouri Lottery postgame is coming up. Of the plays of the year, you'll hear from Matt Holliday and Mike Matheny and many others as the season of 2016 will come to a close. Wainwright, Molina, Holliday. Fitting shot to see those three right there. First time since 2010, the Cardinals will not advance to the postseason.
Doesn't happen very often, does it, Dan?
No. Walk to Jaso. Adam Wainwright back next year. Battery mate Yadier Molina. The future uncertain for number 7. Here's Gregory Polanco. The pitch taken inside. Hear a pin drop right now. Fans realize it. The season is over. Dugout quiet. Yadier Molina, for the 5th time in his career, will finish the season hitting 300 or better. 1-2 pitch, and he struck him out. Our Budweiser player of the game, Yadier Molina, 3 for 5, a double, RBI, run scored, and he finishes up the year hitting .307. Two outs, runner at first, and McCutchen. For the final time, these fans on their feet. Keycapper. Finish with a flourish.
What
nice
a play.
And the 2016 season has come to a close. The Cardinals win 10-4. And they finish a game out of postseason play. More than likely the final time we see Matt Holliday in a Cardinals uniform. And as we say goodbye to the post-game show, it's a look at our top plays of the year.